essentially, does euphemism get in our way? Using the terms passing, transitioning, declining, it's a favorite hospice term, they're declining. Does that actually get in the way of our society embracing and acknowledging that and having real, truthful conversations? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is part of the true specialty of hospice and palliative medicine, is communication training. How do you say things truthfully, bluntly, with compassion? It does not serve someone to say, I'm concerned they're passing. Passing gas? What? I don't, and I'll tell you a quick story. My husband, who's a rheumatologist at UCSF, is probably one of the first palliative care rheumatologists by osmosis. He just can't escape me. And so now has a new angle on the patients that he cares for. And there are many diseases that he is expert in managing that are chronic. People don't die from them, they live with them. And there are some diseases in his field that will kill someone. They will end their life. Some horrible diseases. And yet he's had no training in how to have these conversations, aside from my badgering him. And he doesn't have a team around him. And this came up profoundly. Recently he had a patient who was undeniably dying, and he knew it. And he forced himself to go to the ICU, even though he wasn't on service. It wasn't his responsibility, but it was his patient who he'd been following for years in the outpatient setting. And he owned that. And he found himself meeting the family who he'd seen maybe a month earlier. And he said defensively to me at first, but I talked with them that he was walking at this razor edge. I said that to them. And I'm sure he said it with compassion and concern. But did he say, I think he's dying? Or he could die? Or I wouldn't be surprised if he died? No, he didn't. And here he now was in the ICU. And here was the family, predictably, deer in the headlights, right? Now, we all have had experiences, I suspect, where even when we are crystal clear, documented, video recorded, whatever, we said the word death and dying, that they will feign, right? And I don't mean that like they're pretending, but that there are some places people cannot go, and that's the goal, is to meet people where they are. That doesn't mean you change your language, and it doesn't mean they're lying, but you have to meet people where they are. So here he meets with this family, and God bless him. He was terrified, he was upset, he came away totally shaken. He came home that night, like, what happened? And he's like, just had this emotional meeting. Wife, broke down in tears. The sons, who had heard nothing, were just devastated. I never met the sons before, and here I'm telling these 20-year-olds. And what I realized was, and he did a great job as he retold that encounter, where he was very clear. He used the D word. He had no team around him. In hospice and palliative medicine, we typically are blessed with a chaplain, pun intended, social work, nurse, case managers, physicians, and if we're so fortunate, pet therapists, music therapists, occupational therapists, psychologists, etc. But we are anything but alone. Even if we're meeting with a patient or a family alone, physically, we are not alone. And we can, in a heartbeat, debrief with anyone on our team, and they will get it immediately. How many times this year would I call you? Just, Ashir, I just saw someone, I need to, right? I mean, just gazillions of times, right? He didn't have that. He had me, dozens. So medicine hasn't built itself up to support these conversations. You're not going to hang doctors out there to dry. You haven't trained them, and now we're going to throw that at them. But you don't support them either. Is it any wonder they don't have these conversations in 15 minutes or less while checking your blood pressure?